Hello class, my name is Giovanni Hernandez. Today I will inform my audience how to create a professional and effective job resume. Today my listener will be Diana. A resume is typically the first document you submit to a staffing agency, if any, or submit to a possible employer who is hiring candidates. A resume requires certain elements and pieces of information to inform the employer of your qualifications relevant to the open position. The overall appearance should look clean, organized, and easy to read. Resumes are typically one page long and arranged in chronological order when explaining and emphasizing your job experience. First, you want to include your name on the heading, followed by your mailing address, a working phone number if you have an answering machine, have a welcoming, friendly, outgoing answering message, followed by an email address. Second, you want to have an objective statement. An objective statement informs the employer what you're trying to or will accomplish, which is a career goal. An objective statement is normally a one-sentence declaration. For today's example, we're going to use an administrative assistant who's turning in a resume to a potential employer. An example objective statement for an admin clerk would be seeking a position in which my skills and background can be utilized for mutual benefit. After you have your objective statement, you then want to include your work experience in chronological order. You will first start off by providing the job title of your most recent job. For example, if your last job title was an administrative assistant, include month and year of the job, company, and location. Then in bullet points, approximately 2 or 3, go ahead and describe your former responsibilities and duties. Optional, include awards or honors such as perfect attendance for the month or year. Continue doing so for the remaining companies you work for. Remember to use power verbs like achieve, coordinated, created, developed, manage, supervise. Those are strong past tense verbs and in ed that will help enhance your work experience and duties at former places you worked for before. After you have your work experience, you then want to include professional qualifications or skills. Obviously, you will include skills relevant to the position. For example, experience in internet searching, experience in marketing, filing, mailing procedures, and anything clerical that has to do with administration, office administration. After you have your professional qualifications or skills entered, you then want to include your education. Include high school only if a high school is your highest education. If not, go ahead and include universities, colleges, the degree and certificate earned, and year. After you have your education, you then want to include interest. It can be personal interest, hobbies, so that the employer can know you personally as well as professionally. Examples of hobbies that you can include would be swimming, reading, running, to name a few. And again, these hobbies, it's optional to include. Some additional information to include in your resume, or things to keep in mind, I would say, would be keep it to one page and edit so the information is complete and concise. You then want to check for punctuation, spelling, making sure that it's free from grammatical errors. So always triple check on that. As far as the formatting, the margin should be at least an inch wide on each side. Additional items or not to include on a resume, it's not to over-exaggerate on your past experiences. A resume, it's not an autobiographical narrative where you're including, your whole personal stories. It's supposed to be all work-related. You don't necessarily have to include your jobs, such as, for example, for this administrative position, putting in a job, from Carl's Jr., McDonald's, or, Ralph's as a cashier. Don't really fall along the lines for the office business industry. It's not recommended to include those, so try to not to include those on the resume. They're not really helpful. Again, work experience that you can include can be between 7 to 10 years. That's normally the average work experience you would include in a resume. Once your resume is written, you'll need to distribute it to the correct people, your future employers, for example, and always make extra copies when you're distributing it, when you're giving it to the possible employers where you want to work at. Thanks for watching, and thanks for my listener, Diana, today, and I'll see you next week.